Hello guys, Earth here, and today I'm showing off what I wish was in Minecraft. Which is not only what I actually wish would be in Minecraft, but my first ever mod that I'm currently developing, and it's not released yet because I haven't done any of the recipes and I haven't actually added everything that I want to add in yet. There's still some special features I want to put in, including how to craft all the blocks I'm about to show you, because right now most of them are not obtainable in survival, sadly. But I will be making all of them obtainable. So to start off with, I have the drip leaves behind me. So, oh, well, there's a bug and there's a bunch of lag. Got it. I absolutely love it when my game lags. Oh, that's probably why it's lagging, because it hasn't loaded everything in yet. No, it has. Okay. Well, there's a first bug that I want to fix, is that weird flash thing and the way I bounce off this drip leaf. But these are all supposed to be different variants of drip leaf. And actually, let me show you the vanilla drip leaf. if my voice works well. Oh, right, it's on concrete. Okay. Oh boy. Alright. So first off, the vanilla drip leaf can only be placed on grass or moss. And that works wonderfully if you want to use it as a plant. But some people, as in WIWWIMC, like to use them as actual building blocks and would really like to use a certain block state of the leaf, which is this one, for their roofs. So I decided to make that possible and make a bunch of other things possible along with that too. So now, not only can these new firm drip leaves be placed on any block instead of just grass in any orientation, but they can also be placed on walls. Why is that drip leaf like that? I need to change that hitbox. Yeah. They can also be placed on walls. And okay, that stem shouldn't have that hitbox. Okay, so I haven't fixed everything. Anyways, another thing you can do with this is rotate it on the walls too. And as you just saw there, if I right click any of these, the leaf part will stretch out to include this tip, which does actually make some parts look nicer, like it makes these actually connect. Or if I did this, it just doesn't look right. So there's that. Did I just... oh my goodness, I just noticed another bug. Anyways, as you can tell, I have a lot to fix with this, but this is the mod in a slightly primitive state. And as you can tell, you can do it like that as well. And just to prove that you can do it on any side of a block, including the top of a block, there you go. You can officially do it on top of a block now. And when I do create a recipe for this, I'll make sure to include justification for these floating. I originally didn't want them to be able to float, but you know, why not? It looks cool. And plus, just imagine having like that, like these drip leaf blocks. Let me just place a couple of blocks here. Why does that keep breaking? Okay. being able to do this and that. Let me right click, and right click. There we go. Just imagine being able to walk on these. This just looks awesome. And plus, I know for sure if B-dubs were to have this mod, he would want this feature too, for these to be floatable. And actually, let me see. Oh my goodness, it's such a small hitbox. Okay, so you do still have to place these on a solid block first, but once you do that, they look absolutely awesome either way. Oh my goodness, I am lagging like crazy right now. And as you saw before, I also have stem varieties and this extra rotation block variety, which for some reason does not have a hitbox. Hang on, let me just set that to air because that is going to bother me. So another thing is the drip leaf stem. And there's the half drip leaf stem. I'll get to what that is in a second. But again, as you can tell, you have an entire drip leaf. So, how can these be used in places other than roofs? Well, once I fix the model there, let me right click this and this. You can go through the block. Now, as you saw, there's a little bug there where everything goes green. I think I might keep that as an intentional feature. It was a bug originally, but I do like the idea of not being able to see where you're going. That seems like a very interesting idea for like games and mazes and stuff like that. And while it is already in like powder snow, if I do a bunch of powder snow real quick. Oh my goodness. Like I can basically only see white, but I can also see the sides of these blocks. I think it'd be interesting to have a block like that except you wouldn't be able to see where the edge of the blocks are that you're in. Now, for the rest of these features, I've brought back some textures from old Minecraft and also some Education Edition textures. Well, specifically one Education Edition texture, which is the border block, which I've renamed to the Nether Core because I didn't want to include the original functionality of the border. While I do have a wall version of this, like the original border block is, it doesn't have the same functionality. As you can see, I can just fly right over it. I'm basically including homages to old Minecraft and Education Edition Minecraft as like for decorational purposes instead of for actual functionality. And of course, we have all the other cores. So we have the redstone core, diamond, ender, stellar, and blazing, and this is the nether core. You get these by just throwing different items on top of a core. So for the diamond core, obviously it'd be diamonds. But I will show off, I think, the ender core, which is an eye of ender. Yes, it's an eye of ender. I definitely need to balance that texture out. But another thing that I wanted is six-sided grass. Well, really B-dubs wanted this, but I don't have a 4 B-dubs caption on this. And I decided to extend that to azaleas and other forms of ground. Now these are all complete blocks, well, full blocks, so you're not going to get any weird hitbox stuff with these. But next is my plank and stone variations. These are all either purely vanilla or from vanilla textures. So this is, well, was the side of the crafter, and I just had to remove the crafter's handle. So if I get a crafter out real quick, you'll see you have the handle there. I just had to remove that. I do eventually want to include the top of the crafter texture, especially with the redstone, because I think it would be a very interesting mechanic. I don't know why, I just think it would look cool. And then this is the chisel bookshelf, and I think you can see where this is going. I wanted to add as many different ways to use as many different textures as possible. And you'll probably recognize at least some of these. Now, another gripe I have with Minecraft, the chisel tough. I would like to be able to place this in any orientation. When I place this like this, I expect to see this texture on this side of the block. It's just for completionist sake. And even hay has that feature that I want. It's like if I do this, you can get this texture on any side of a block you want. You just can't get it on all sides of a block, which is something I should probably add at some point. Yeah, I will add that. Don't worry, I will. And then, hang on, let me get rid of my inventory. And those are just there for notes for my personal development code, so don't worry about those. Let's see. And then another thing, there's some textures that are visible in vanilla survival, but not actually obtainable. One of the best examples, I think, is the vault. All the textures on the vault look absolutely awesome. Why don't we have these textures in survival? Like, I would really like to have this copper light on the bottom of more blocks in just a vault. Looks absolutely awesome. And I would really like to have that type of vault-like ability in other games, I guess. Like, it'd be really cool for Tango's Decked Out game to be able to go up to a vault and get, say, oh, I don't know, like a specific upgrade or something, who knows. Instead of having to have them just drop and despawn and all that. But having a survival version of the vault, I think would be wonderful. And also having different ways to obtain other versions of these blocks would be really cool. So, tar spawner, again, I'm not asking for us to have a spawner and survive, well, for us to be able to bring the spawner back home and spawn mobs. I'm just asking to be able to access this texture or these other textures using some other block, which is what these are for here. And I could say the same of almost any block that's not available in survival. Oh, I don't have the creative inventory on. Let's see. Game mode, I think it's... Okay, I can't remember. I don't think it's game mode. But But, what was I going to say? Yeah, I would like to see more ways to use these other textures. By the way, this is just temporary. I haven't fully implemented the code into my mod to support the block here that I want. Actually, let me show you. It's the blast furnace. The block that's going to go here will have this side texture on all 6 sides of it, but I'll allow people to rotate the texture any way they want. And that's also why these 2 blocks are cursed blocks, because they also have the same situation. Let me get an observer. I am not placing that. That'll crash my game right now. Don't worry, I will fix that in the future. This block, I believe, is supposed to be this top texture, this arrow, which again should be able to be rotated in many directions. And then this block should be the side texture, which again can be rotated depending on what you'd like. And as far as other blocks go, I'm in 121.1, by the way, not 121.5 or pre-release of 121.6, because it's easier to develop the mod. But I would like, but even though we have like new spawn egg textures, I absolutely love the new spawn egg textures, by the way, I would like to be able to have a way to get these textures back. Maybe not as spawn eggs, but some other type of egg. Maybe some different type of sniffer egg. This needs its own color variations, actually. Scratch that. But I would like those textures back in some way without removing the new spawn egg textures in, I think it's 121.5. I could be wrong. And another thing that I'd like to see is stuck block states. So like for the redstone lamp, if I have a redstone lamp and a redstone torch, I would like to be able to keep this lamp permanently on even after I turn it off. Now, this isn't because... No, this isn't something just... This isn't for redstone purposes, it's for decorational purposes. Like if I have like a wall of redstone lamps or something, and say I can only power the bottom of them, and say this wall is like many blocks tall, and it has to be 1 block thick. Like I can't do redstone torches on this side because there's a room right on the other side of the wall. We need more blocks to be put in for just decorational purposes instead of actually having more uses. Like, I love copper. People keep saying copper needs to have more uses. I kind of agree, but I would also like to see something like this added in, to where the main use of a block would be purely decoration, but say for, well, I don't know, soul gold in this case. Say, oh, I don't know, soul gold can maybe be able to attract zombie piglins or something, who knows. Or, well, okay, another thing, the soulite. More variations of textures is also needed. Like this is the inside of the Skulk Streaker. Looks absolutely awesome. But I would like to be able to not only have this texture as an actual decorational texture, But I'd like to remove the bones from the edge of the block and use it for decoration, which is why I created the soul light texture. And I think the soul light is the most modified texture that I have in the mod so far. Everything else has been pretty close to its original vanilla texture. Now this smithing table, I think this is something Tango Tech would really like to see in the game, considering he used smithing tables all the time for decked out. In fact, let me do a smithing table. As you can see, it's the same top. Oh my goodness, the lag. Same top texture as smithing table, except when you place a block on top, you don't have to deal with the GUI or having shift, which can be very annoying. Now, what else is there? I'm not going to go through each of these textures one by one, and which ones they are, or how to access them, but except for the soul light over, well, even the soul light is based on vanilla. But yes, most of these are purely from vanilla, and I will give credit to the vanilla textures in my mod description when I upload this to CurseForge, if they even allow me to do it. Let's hope they do. But I've got a lot more things to do, including something I'm working on right now is the casing block. So this just looks absolutely awesome. This is the top of the respawn anchor. I do have an empty variation without the portal, but I'm not placing that because as of right now it just crashes my game, so I'm not about to risk that. Let's see, I believe it is glowstone blocks to activate it. Can't remember. Yeah, it's glowstone blocks. As you can see, it's the same texture, but I thought I would include a little homage to the Infinite April Fool's update, and while this doesn't work right now, once it does work, you'll be able to put a block into there, and the portal inside here will change color depending on the block. So right now, if I had the code implemented, this would be yellow instead of purple. It's not actually going to work as a portal, like it's not actually going to create a glowstone dimension or anything, it's just there again for decorational purposes. Now another thing, for those modding devs watching my video and not Hermitcraft, please allow us to be able to place multiple trapdoors inside one block, even if it's not called a trapdoor. So, like doing this. And a way to make these trapdoors not look like trapdoors, but instead look like some other different thing. It'd be awesome, like for, what's a good example? Actually, I'll just look one up. Acacia, there we go. This is a really cool texture, but not everyone wants to use this as a trapdoor. I would like to see a variant of this texture in vanilla without that gray door part in it. I just think it would be cool. It would have lots of applications in building, and that same variation should be placeable on multiple sides of a block at once, similar to glow lichen. And yes, I will be adding that in at some point, so like this. And for, how does that work? Okay. And for false symmetry, while we're on the topic of glow lichen, in a recent video that False Symmetry uploaded, she said she wanted a way for glow lichen to not show up on the map. I will be adding that as well, because why not? And I will also be adding the same type of thing for skulk veins and vines. Except for vines, another thing is being able to place them on the floor. I think that'd be really cool. And again, I just really want to be able to place any block in any position, even if it means creating a new version of that block. So like for example, these firm drip leaves, these are not actual drip leaves. I will make the crafting recipe for these make sense with the way they work, because as of right now, I can make these float. So if I do this and this, I don't really care what block I get. If I do that and that and break it, you'll see it's floating. That at first there's a glitch, but now I kind of want it as an intended feature. Just looks cool. Wait, does the bug still work with? Yes, it does. And as you can see, there's this blinding bug, which I think if it were implemented more carefully, it could actually be a very interesting concept for mazes and things like that. So basically, for the modding devs that are watching this, if there's any like texture that's on one side of a block, or maybe like 2 or 3 sides of a block but not all sides, I will be making sure to add it to this mod if the texture isn't given more uses. Like, what's another good example? Oh, I haven't done logs yet. At some point I do want to do logs. Being able to have different varieties of logs, let's say have this log texture on 3 sides of a block, most specifically for tree building, would be absolutely awesome. Like, okay, maybe this rotation thing doesn't work that well, but it would be very interesting for the log to know which sides of it had logs on it and change the texture on that side of a block depending on what it, what was I going to say? Depending on what faces of it were covered. I think that would be absolutely awesome. And again, and also glowing obsidian, I want to say one more time, this is not going to be obtained in the same way as getting glowing obsidian in the original game. I'm thinking of using this with redstone somehow, and then making it dyeable at some point. So basically, as a summary for this, just we need more ways to use the textures that are currently inside of the game instead of adding new textures. Like, I absolutely love all the stuff they've been adding to Minecraft, but there's so many more ways we can use the blocks that are, well, the textures of blocks that are currently in vanilla that we can't actually use without having block displays. And speaking of block displays, can we have a way to access them in survival, please? I want to do a data pack at some point for 121.6, specifically for this purpose, allowing block displays in survival, but block displays could be so useful as decoration and things like that. And I just wish you had more control over some of those things. Like, You know, even interaction displays would be awesome. And another thing, I know this would be very resource intensive, but right now as far as spawn eggs go, we don't have a block display, item display, or text display spawn egg. And that's mostly fine, but I would like to see a way for the spawn egg that you're holding to maybe, well, to have a spawn egg actually look like the mob it's going to represent. I know Mojang did this in their 121.5 update, I believe. Wait, what? Oh, because it's peaceful. Right. That's why it's not happening. Okay. So let me do, well, I don't know, an axolotl. Aw, the little baby. Anyways, I would like to see the axolotl spawn egg actually look like the model of the axolotl if you do that option. The reason I'm saying this is not just because it'd be resource intensive, but because if your spawn egg has a riding mob, oh wait, that's not peaceful, that won't work out well. I forgot about that. Or say it has different variations like a villager. Like that. Well, there's not a variation right now, but if I get a table out, it will. Yeah, as you can see, it changes cloak. I like to be able to see exactly what type of armor or, in this case, clothes are on the mob that you're spawning. This would usually be more useful with block displays, item displays, and interaction entities, where, say you have like some sort of weird crushed down tinted glass block display that's writing, I guess, an interaction entity. Being able to have that as an egg and being able to actually see what you're spawning would be wonderful, because then, say, data pack creators wouldn't have to create custom models. They just put the item model on the block display. No, they create the item model to be used with an item display with the interaction entity, and then there you go. And actually, I can show you for like stairs. Let me get my custom smith oak planks. So if this were a data pack, I would have this be an interaction display that you would then place down, and when you break it, the interaction display would kill itself and drop the item of the stair on the ground. Being able to have that item actually show its model instead of an interaction display spawn egg would be absolutely awesome. And yes, I know you could just use custom model data for this, but what if you have a zombie with certain types of armor on it or something, like maybe a special leather chest plate that you don't want to do custom model data for? Then you would probably just want to have that model option for this. I know that would be very resource intensive, but it would be useful for data packs. Another thing, bundles. Oh, right, they're not in this update. But, wait, are they? No, they aren't, man. But, what I would have liked to see is another way to use. Actually, let me go back up here. Another way to use the scroll key. Because for me, I have a computer, well, a desktop that doesn't have a mouse with it. It has a mouse pad, which means I can't use the middle button. For pick block, let me show you. For pick block, I did change that to a K. But for bundles, there's no way to change that. I mean, I can't prove it to you because I'm not on the correct version. But for bundles, there's no way to change that. And I would personally like that scorebar change. And, oh, right, I'm in a different perspective. But, as far as I'm concerned, I think I've covered almost everything I want to cover. You can look at the textures here. And, okay, so, before I end the video, another thing that I would also like to see, let me clear my inventory real quick. There's some blocks that deserve special attention that I forgot to actually put into the video. That would be these blocks right here. This texture, again, you can see it in survival, but you can't get it yourself. The in portal frame texture looks absolutely awesome. I wish we could use it outside of strongholds and end portals. And no, I'm not saying allow us to make end portals anywhere we want, because that's not really important to me. But what is important is that we can use this specific texture, maybe to frame other items in. Like, actually, let me show you. So what I'm saying is, okay, that didn't really work, but should be able to like throw this. Well, okay, you get my point. That hole in the center looks perfect for storing an item in. It could possibly be some sort of different type of item frame, like a display case of sorts. Oh my goodness, why is that not? But yeah, there's that. I can't get this to work correctly, but there's that I think would be very useful in the game. Then another thing, reinforced deep slate looks absolutely awesome. Again, just because it's hard to break does not mean you shouldn't be able to place it in multiple directions. Same thing for ancient debris. Again, hard to break, super OP material. We should at least be able to put it to face it however we want it to face. Now, chiseled sandstone and chiseled red sandstone. I absolutely love these textures. I would like to see different variations of these though. Like this script part on the sandstone block looks absolutely awesome, but some people may want that part to be smooth. And of course, as always, we have this smooth texture on the top. I'd like to see a way to not have the smooth texture on the top and instead have it, say, on this side. And I believe, let's see if I do this. Yeah, it's on the bottom too. And then same thing with item frames. Item frames are absolutely awesome. I love that they've been added into the game. But vanilla survival without data packs needs a way to make these item frames invisible. And another thing, I'd like to see some sort of item frame block. What I mean by that is if I grab some white concrete real quick, I'd like to see an item frame on all 6 sides of a block in a 1 block space, like this. but just all one block instead of having to have these entities go into other blocks. It just allows for more entity compaction, I guess. And as you can see, a bunch of items drop, and as we all know, there's a big inventory issue. So, having that would be absolutely awesome. Another thing, the shulker texture. Shulker boxes, shulker entities, all that, all have that same texture. We need more ways to access this texture than just a shulker box. Now, I know most people probably won't want to use shulker boxes as decoration, but it'd be cool, you know, even if people don't use them like that. Same thing with the spiral. It's probably not going to be used as decoration, but it's still nice to have just in case you do want to use it. And then, oh my goodness. Then with dry kelp. This is misaligned. There's not really a way to make it aligned without having the line be, the white line part be thicker, and I'm absolutely okay with that. But we need this texture on all 6 sides of this instead of just this one annoying vertical line. And also, you cannot place this in multiple orientations like I wished you could. I just thought those blocks deserve special attention. And also, I understand why the vault and tile spawner are not placeable in multiple directions, because it just wouldn't make sense. But again, having access to these textures beyond their original blocks, I think would be a great tool for builders to use. Like, yes, this is a chest texture. This cannot actually be used as a chest. Oh yeah, that should be in water. Oh well. Well, go away from them for a little while. But yeah, pretty much just add more ways to use the textures that are currently in the game, and also more variations of textures that are currently in the game instead of adding completely custom new ones. Like, let's say the beehive, for example. This side texture looks absolutely awesome. Great job, Mojang, but give us a way to remove this top part, like this lid part, and use it as decoration instead of as an actual beehive. And yes, I know a lot of these textures are similar. That's on purpose. They may look similar from the outside, well, from a far away distance, but at close distance, these would be very useful as decoration. Like for the chiseled oak. This is the chiseled bookshelf side texture. Looks absolutely awesome. I think this looks really cool as a wall, and while yes, you can currently use it as a wall for the chiseled bookshelf. Let me get one out real quick. You also have that, and as you can see, I can't right-click. Well, can't right-click onto this because it's expecting a book. So I'd like to see ways to use this texture, well, to use these textures independently from each other. So, with that, I will say thank you for watching, thanks for joining, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!